This is Bernadette Chinley, and I have Justin Barclay joining me for a great hangout. Today, we are discussing how to use social media marketing to share your unique self. And I met Justin on a hangout on a webinar, and I mean, we did meet. I did cross him before, but this time we actually reached out to each other and said hello, had a lovely conversation. And so I says, well, why not have an interview with Justin? Because I love sharing great stuff and I love seeing people using attraction marketing in particular in a very unique way. And Justin is just that type of person. He was a radio show host and he did his radio all over the country. Justin, correct me if I do anything, say anything wrong. So he loved his radio. He got his dream job and then he got fired. He lost his job. So when I visited his website, these are the words that he uses to inspire people who visit his blog. And I'm sure he uses it to inspire himself, because you can't tell people words if you don't believe it yourself. All right. So his words are live life on purpose. And because he has a positive mindset, he now grows through his pain and struggles, and everything happens for a reason. And so therefore he constantly makes choices because it is his aim to become better. And as he said in many of his videos, he shares so that he inspires. And when I visited your website today, you did that share your love today. Is that the words? Hashtag share your love.
Share the love, yeah.
Share the love, right. And so therefore, I didn't exactly go out and tip anybody, but I shared love in a different way. So I call him the fish man. He came and visited me this morning, sell me fish. And the point is that I can go to a fish grocer or whatever, somebody that does it for business, where they have a whole factory, etc., and they give you nice fresh fish every day, and you have to go to the store and buy this lovely fresh fish. Now I consistently buy from this guy because everybody has to make a living. And yes, I could go somewhere else and maybe get it $5 cheaper on the pound, but I love to buy from him because I think he is very special. And the love that I shared with him today is that I listen to him, because a lot of people he just sells them fish and they're like, okay, bye, I gotta go, I'm busy, So my sheer love for him was listening to him, and that's because that's what people love.
Absolutely.
Great. So your website is very unique, and what I got from it today when I visited it is that you're a man who enjoys doing what you're doing, and the subtle message is business and life you need to have joy while you do that. So could you tell me a little bit more and tell the audience more about what I just said?
Absolutely. Thank you, Bernadette, for inviting me on. This is a lot of fun, and it's a real honor and a privilege to be here with you. Like you said, we connected, we met online, and I think that's the great thing about technology, and what makes attraction marketing and what makes our business, our industry so powerful is that we can meet people and establish new relationships with them just like that, and go and have the ability to go deep with them. We have the ability to really build not just wide relationships as far as, how many friends do you have on your Facebook, but you have the ability to really go deep with people. That's why I'm fired up to be here with you today and excited to share a little bit about my story. As you said, yes, I worked in radio for 20 years, and it was all I ever wanted to do. I've done radio since I was in high school, as a matter of fact. My first full-time job came when I was still in high school. And it was, it was my dream. It was a dream that, when you're a kid, you think, okay, what do I want to be when I grow up? And, doctor and lawyer was on there at one time, and I'm sure like policeman and things like that, but, radio was really it. And I had the fortune of being able to get myself in a program in high school. We had a class in school you could take. And that first class was kind of what helped me get my foot in the door and get my first job. So that being said, I've traveled all over the country. I've lived all over, and been able to really spend some time in some great places. And that's kind of the industry is that, you get your first job and you really want to climb the ladder and, up to different markets. The pay is better. The opportunities are better, so on and so forth. And I loved for a time what I did. I really absolutely loved it. It was the only thing I ever really, like I said, envisioned myself doing. So I had realized that radio had made a deal, like a lot of deals we see in life. The deal of, and maybe you've heard of these and you've been through this yourself, but the deal of go to school, study hard, get good grades so you can get into a good college, and you graduate and get a good job. And if you work hard at that job, for the next 40 years or then you can retire, right? And you can have freedom. And that's kind of the deal that we've had. Well, that deal, as many are finding out, and most are waking up to, that was the American dream, right? Well, it's turning out that dream, much like my dream, isn't quite what was cracked up to be. And it's turning out a lot of people are waking up with a bit of a hangover. A lot of people are waking up and realizing it turned into a nightmare. That's kind of what my dream turned into. I had this dream job. I had climbed the ladder, and I ended up with this amazing job on a radio station in Detroit, Michigan, which is one of the top markets. And I was doing the morning show, which is one of the top shows, the time slots you want to do, pays well, opportunities. I'm very thankful. I'm very grateful for everything that I went through, but it ended up that particular job, that particular place, ended up to become a very toxic place, a very toxic environment, a lot of politics in the office. And I didn't have the freedom that I thought I would have. So I didn't realize it, but I was miserable. And one day, the guy who brought me in decided he needed to retire. He needed to leave because he was working a corporate lifestyle, the grind of flying from Michigan to New York, because he was a vice president with one of these major radio companies, and working in New York half the week and then flying back home. He decided he couldn't take it anymore. And he said, I got to stop. This is literally killing me. And it was killing him. This poor guy, just a few months, just a couple of months after he retired, ended up in the hospital with congestive heart failure, with kidney failure, and the job was literally, the stress was killing him. So he stopped. He said, I can't do this anymore. And then once he stopped, well, it was just a matter of time before politically they wanted to bring someone new in, and that person wanted to bring their people in, and that's kind of how things go. So I find out about a month before I'm fired that I'm going to be losing my job. So I think mentally I had some time to prepare for that. So when it happened, I was at peace and I was ready. I knew that this was happening for a reason. I knew that there was something bigger to come. I just didn't know necessarily at the time what it was. It also helped that with the radio business, this specific career, we're many of us contract employees. So they had just re-signed a new contract with me just 3 months before they decided to fire me. And so because of that, it was fortunate that I had some time to really sit back and discover what it was that I wanted to do. I was able to be paid, for a few months and really kind of sit back and say, now, okay, what is it that I want to do? And that was my light bulb. That was my aha moment, because I got to take a look at my life, how I was living, and was it really what I wanted? And I think for most of us, we think that what we're doing is what we really want. But is it really? If you could really redesign and have complete control over what it is that you would do with your life, what would it look like? What would it be? And for me, getting a chance to step back and take a look and say, wow, I didn't realize that I was this unhappy. I didn't realize. And another interesting thing about me, Bernadette, is several years back, I actually weighed almost 400 pounds. I lost 100 pounds, way over 100 pounds, very publicly on the radio. And this is very similar, because I didn't realize at almost 400 pounds how bad I felt. I didn't realize how unhappy I was. And I think it's very similar, because you get into something and you don't realize when you're stuck in the thing how life is, and you get used to. It's kind of like the analogy of the frog in the boiling pot of water.
Yeah.
And it's that frog, you put him in there and you just gradually turn the heat up. He gets used to it. Everything's fine. But if you dropped him in there into the boiling pot of water, he'd jump right out. So that's kind of what it was like for me. And I'm just so grateful. I'm so happy that I had this opportunity to see what life was supposed to be like. And now I believe I'm supposed to share that with other people and show other people how to live a life on purpose. That's kind of my story in a nutshell.
Great. That's an excellent story. And there are two things that I definitely grasp onto there. Is the fact that you tried the radio and you loved it, and so therefore you found your career in radio. And a lot of people hear about working from home. I hear people hear about doing part-time work and getting even more than a full-time job, and before they even try it out, they run away.
Yeah.
So your story, is really how you attract people to you. Your story of how you tried it and how you made sure that it worked is really how you share this awesome industry of working from home, doing building an audience, building a network, and sharing with them why you're so happy and why you actually retired a lot earlier. Because after you got fired from your dream job and realized how toxic the environment was, I'm hearing that you did a lot of reading. Is that how you prepared yourself for it? You read books, you started doing some research. And so therefore, because nobody wakes up and says, oh, I'm going to live life on purpose. You got to open your mind to say, okay, this door just shut for me. How am I going to open? How am I going to find the next door for my next opportunity? How can I share myself better?
It's really interesting, because about 3 years ago is when I lost my dream job, and at that point in time, I didn't read anything other than what I would say maybe websites, blogs, and most of that was the entertainment industry, TMZ, that kind of thing. And I had to keep up with the news, because what I was doing was a pop culture show on a popular radio station. So I had to talk about Kim Kardashian and the latest whatever celebrities
that they do.
Right. It's exactly. And I found myself, one of the reasons I was unhappy is because I didn't care about that stuff. So I was forced to do a lot of things and focus on a lot of things that I didn't realize at the time were actually bringing me down. So after I got to go on this kind of detox where I unplugged. I unplugged from the matrix. No news, no gossip, none of that stuff. I didn't have to pay any attention to it. And I found myself actually being able to sleep and rest and And really, I this is the best moment, Bernadette, because I remember the week after I had lost that job. It was my first week. I'm driving down the road. I look up in the rear view mirror, and I had these horrible bags underneath my eyes previously because I wasn't getting any sleep, and it was just stress and all this. Within a week, they were gone. I looked 10 years younger. It was crazy. No creams, no magic, anything like that. It was just like getting the rest and like just not having that stress in my life and letting go. And so I think you're right. You know, you talk about what was it that brought me? I think I was prepared in the moment because I knew it was coming. And then I had faith. You know, I really did have faith that something better was coming. I just didn't know what it was. I had faith that the universe, life, God, whatever you want to call it, there was a better plan. There was something bigger that I was supposed to do. And I had success in radio. I had great success. So I knew and had confidence and faith in myself that whatever it was, that I was on the right path. And I just kind of gave myself over to that. And I did start reading. Out of nowhere, I don't know why, but you see all these books behind me. I mean, I went on a reading like spree, and you know, I just wanted to kind of get my hands on anything that I could that would lift me up, that would kind of prepare me for the next thing, that would prepare me for what I should do next, and really who I was supposed to become to accomplish whatever it was that was going to come my way, whatever it was, the opportunity that was going to come my way. So yeah, you know, personal development, reading the books, taking courses, all of those things, very, very important, I think, playing a role in kind of helping me become this person and becoming a more positive person. I think I was I think it was a bit cynical for a while, years back, you know, just somebody who I'd seen it all. I'd seen the bad side of things, and I looked for that. I found that, you know, especially over the last few years, that whatever it is that you're focusing on, whatever it is that you're looking for, you're going to find it. And so I decided just to change what it was that I was looking for and focusing on. And boy, it's made a wonderful difference, and to live a life on purpose, you know?
Sorry about that. Yes. So you build a business because you mentioned somewhere in between there that you share with people how to lose weight, just like yourself. All right. Now, on your website, there's nothing saying work with me, take care and see what I do. You know, why have you chosen that as your business model? And I want you to share, you know, why you think that this model is the business model of sharing our unique industry of network marketing.
Well, here's the thing. I've been doing attraction marketing. I didn't realize it. I've been doing it for years and years, just doing it on the radio. We had many clients, you know, there were many different products that would be run with commercials, etc. It was my job to create the audience from scratch in a lot of places and serve that audience, keep them listening long enough that you can hear the commercials. Think about when you listen to the radio, a lot of times, and people that still do listen to the radio, you know, they have the commercials, and you have to listen through those commercials to hear what's coming up next. That's the thing that you really want, is you want to be around for the programming, the thing that's there. Well, I was doing very similarly what I'm doing now, which is just attracting that audience. And you know, there would be times when I would read some copy for something that was an endorsement. You know, like I had a free car. Every so often they would give me this new car to drive, and one of these car dealerships would say, okay, so here's the deal. You're going to read the commercial on the air, and people will. Well, that was kind of like on the side. That was kind of like, it was a commercial, but it kind of fit into what we were doing on the air. So attraction marketing works the very same way. I built me. Let me think of that. The best way to say this is I was the product. I was the brand. The radio show was the brand. That's what I was branding. That's what I was really promoting. And I think this industry is so similar because if, companies will come and go. There are a lot of great companies out there. There's some that aren't so great, but many of them are very great. And it's hard in business sometimes, with any business, no matter what business it is, really to get your product or your service, your company off the ground. It really is tough. The number of businesses that fail is rather high. And that's not because they don't have great products, but the marketplace it plays a role there. But there are so many things that can happen. So why tie yourself to one product or the other? I don't want to be, Mr. Juice guy, or I don't want to be Mr. Skincare guy, or whatever specific branded to those things. What I want to do is build an audience of people who are like me, who get me, and who want to be around me. And that is the goal, I think, with attraction marketing that I see very similar to radio. Is I was just building audiences, sure, they all liked a certain kind of music, but we would also attract people who never really listened to the radio station during the rest of the day. They just came for our show because they liked the show and they enjoyed the show. Well, you're going to have that in attraction marketing too. That's why I choose this method. And you won't see a product or necessarily a certain thing on my website, because my goal is not to sell products. I don't want buyers necessarily. I want customers. And what I mean by that, I don't want sales. I want long-term relationships with people. Like we were talking in the beginning of this, I want to go deep. I want to drive deep with the relationships. And the deeper you go, the more solidified you are with your relationship. Those people are going to stick around for forever and ever. And that's why I choose attraction marketing. I think it's very powerful. You have the ability to grow your audience and then take them with you. And technology makes that even better nowadays. It's easier to grow your audience, talk to them, share with them on a daily basis, and take them with you. And that's what you're doing right now, Bernadette. We're doing it as we're talking right here.
Yeah, it's just pure value. I mean, just listening to somebody's philosophy, listening to somebody who is following a business model that's working. That's what any entrepreneur, any home business person should be going after first, before they even start thinking, okay, how am I going to sell? Because, you got to learn to be comfortable talking to people. And when you're comfortable talking to people, building relationships is going to be very easy. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Excellent. So I want you to share with us very quickly why it is that you weren't afraid to share your unique self, and you weren't afraid to share what your brand was, and building your online business your way, which is branding you. Why it is that you felt that you weren't afraid to do that?
So when I was in radio, I had several wonderful people that I worked with. I had a mentor who, like I said, was at the top of his game. He was executive management and still works with people you would recognize their names today if I said them. They're very high profile. One of the things he taught me is that when you talk to an audience, this is with radio, but it also applies to what we do when we talk to people. Say if you're using video, if you're using a podcast, or even if you're writing statuses on social media, or you have a newsletter, whatever, blog, whatever it is that you do, there are a couple of different things that he taught me to do. And one of those is always talk one-to-one. The conversation is not too many. You tend to think, like, when you're on the radio, that there's a bunch of people just sitting around a radio and like waiting and sitting and waiting for every single word to drop out of your mouth. And that's not the case, right? The thing that's great about radio is that there's a relationship. It's a one-to-one thing. And that's what this is great about this medium as well, is that you can build the audience one-to-one. And when you're talking to those people that are right for you, you're talking to them as an individual, that relationship is going to be cemented even further. So that was one thing. The other thing that he always said was, you want to make people feel something. And here's what I mean. Emotion is very powerful. There are so many people in your business, in your specific company even, that are selling the same thing, that are doing the same things, and it's all noise. Just like the radio, we're competing for attention. It's all noise. How do you cut through the noise? How do you cut through the clutter? It's by making people feel something. If you make them feel something, he would say, I don't care whether you make them mad, tick them off, or make them happy, or make them cry, make them laugh. It doesn't matter, just as long as you make them feel something, because they'll remember that. And that is what goes a lot further. So when I learned about those principles, that's when I started really getting to a mastery level with radio, understanding what makes people think, and understanding, what moves people. And when I started being really vulnerable and putting myself out there, and I will say the word is authentic. When I was authentic about who I was and what was going on in my life, our show was very much about what was happening in our lives, and much what was happening in my life. When I mentioned I went through the weight loss battle, and I did it all like on the radio, all live on the radio. We did these live weigh-ins every Tuesday with a TV station in conjunction with like The Biggest Loser. And I would step on the scale in front of people on television and talk about it on the radio. And I talk about, what did I eat? Did I mess up and have something bad to eat? Did I get my workouts? And all of those things that I think really drew people to me, because they thought, oh, I'm going through the same thing, or I've been there, or I understand that. And they wanted to be a part of that, right? I was willing to be who I am. And that is the key with attraction marketing. So many people are worried about, well, how can I be all things to all people? How can I be what everybody wants? And if you go through life trying to do that, you won't attract anybody. Matter of fact, you'll repel people, because there's so much of that out there already. It's wallpaper. People don't want that. They want real, authentic, and you. And so I say, go out to the public square, stand there tall, sing your song, be who you are, and the right people will find you. So many people are worried about trying to fit in, and trying to serve a certain audience. That idea comes from, I believe, a scarcity mentality, a mentality that thinks there's not enough people out there, and I got to get these people to be a part of my thing, or I got to get these people. But the truth and the reality is, if you embrace it, you're here for a reason. You're here on purpose. You have greatness inside of you, and you have a mission. You're supposed to do the thing that it is that you're supposed to do. And so if you believe that and you understand that, then and you realize it's very real, that if you're supposed to do that thing, if you're supposed to say certain things, then there are people that are supposed to hear what it is that you have to say. So just as you are here to say those things and to be that person and to serve the world in that way, there are people that are here for you to serve. And they're like these special matches, you know. It's powerful. If you understand that, you can kind of take a step back and say, oh, I get it. And you can be more comfortable about who you are. And that's the key to being your true, authentic self. And when you get that, when you understand that, you find your voice, that's when it takes off. It took off for me in radio like that. And so in this way, very simply, in this business, in this industry, it's the exact same way.
Excellent, excellent. Well, Justin, I thank you very much for sharing your song with us today. It was awesome being yourself, living life on purpose, and truly being able to reveal that unique self. Everybody has a story, and the main reason why I wanted to get you on was for you to share your passion so that other people could see that they need to, you need to stop, listen, search yourself, search the books, and find that unique story that you are supposed to go out and sing so that your audience will show up. I thank you very much. Could you tell people very quickly how to find you?
Thank you, Bernadette. I really appreciate it. And I'm so, like I said, I'm so honored, and it's a privilege to be here with you today. But yeah, again, you're doing great things, and you know, this is so cool that we get to be able to share with each other. I got a great newsletter. You can find it at justinbarclay.com. I share tips, tricks, motivation, inspiration, all of that to help you build your business and live a life on purpose. justinbarclay.com, BARCLAY. And I'd love to send you some good stuff. Just put your name and your email in.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you very much, Justin, and we'll see you around.
Have a great day.